So thank you so much for doing this. I do really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I was going through Instagram last year when I came across your story. I just want to start by saying, if you don't mind sharing a bit about yourself and where you're from.
Okay, so my name is Vivian Wogo, but I prefer to be called V. So my friends call me V. Okay. And I am from Imo State, Mbise to be precise. I grew up in Owerri. In fact, I'm a typical Igbo girl. I was raised in Owerri. I had my education, most of my education in Owerri too. Primary school, secondary school. Half of secondary school was Federal Girls Umuahia, and then the other half was in Owerri Girls Secondary School. And then my school of nursing was in Mbano, Imo State. So most of these were in Imo State. I'm the first child of my parents. Were 4 girls and a boy. My both parents are still alive. I'm a registered nurse, currently living in UK now. I was trained in Nigeria. Right now, I'm a theater nurse, so I work in the theaters. Yeah.
How was it like growing up in Nigeria? In the East, precisely. Because I grew up in the East as well. I grew up in Anambra State. I'm from Anambra State.
Well, I feel like, I don't know how to explain it, but growing up in Owerri, to be precise, it formed my foundation when it comes to culture and everything. But it also helped me get more ambitious. So normally, if I had been raised by my parents who live in Mbise, I feel like I would have been a very different person, because my parents, my auntie took me from my parents when I was 5 years old. So my primary and secondary education all were in Owerri, but my parents actually live in Mbise. So growing up in Imo State, being a core Igbo state, kind of made me the pure Igbo girl that I am, basically, and then made me more ambitious because I lived in Owerri. Yeah. So I saw people travel in and out of Owerri, doing better. And also, I think my career, I picked up the idea of being a nurse while in Owerri, although my family had already tried to instill it in me when I was like 3-4 years in Mbise. So it was good. It was good growing up in Imo State, I would say.
When did you move to the UK?
2022, September.
Yeah, and I know these are personal questions, but I said the first thing I talked about was I was going through Instagram when I saw your story, and on our way to this studio, I mentioned that to you as well. I don't know why Instagram just recommended that post to me, but obviously you came in 2022, and the post on IG was about your cancer challenge.
Yes.
You had, I don't know that you say have cancer, but you had cancer at that point. And to the extent you can, when did you first realize that something was wrong with you?
It was on 26th of December 2023. That was when I found a lump. But thinking back at it now, I started noticing some changes immediately I came into UK. Previously, I didn't used to sleep a lot or feel tired, but I remember sometimes I used to feel very tired to even stand up from the bed. I had breakouts, like boils that I hadn't had for years prior to coming to UK. And they kind of went. So these are some of the things that I experienced that happened with my body before December when I found the lump. So I don't know if they have anything to do with it, but the main thing that I saw was a lump. And it happened, that's 26th, I was in the house, and my hand randomly just passed on my breast, and I felt like there was a lump. Now, before that day, 2 days prior to that day, a friend of mine was having a phone call, or had a phone call from someone who was telling him that she had been diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer.
Wow.
And she's 31 years old, had just given birth. And after in childbirth, they found fluid in her chest. And they ran more checks and found out that she had breast cancer, actually stage 4, and they were planning on sending her to palliative care. So that scared me, Sha. But 2 days after, I found a lump.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know.
So literally, so you came into the UK 2022. What month, sorry, again? What month?
September.
September. So literally less than a year after coming into the UK.
Yes, I found
You found the
lump.
symptoms, the lumps and everything.
Absolutely.
So you already mentioned breast cancer. So what stage? Was there a stage that you yourself?
So it was stage 3. So it comes stage 0, 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
Stage 3 is when it has already left the cells and has started going into the lymph nodes. So in my case, the breast cancer cells were found in 2 lymph nodes, very close to my hand, my axilla. So that was how they categorized it. When I felt the lump, I called my GP and said that I wanted to come in for a check. So they arranged for me to come in January. When I went to my GP, he checked and said, you have breast tissues that are a little lumpy, so I don't think this is breast cancer. Plus, you're very young, but I'm just going to refer you. But I don't think it's something to worry about. I said, okay. He referred me to my hospital. When I met the surgeon, the consultant, she checked again and said, because of the kind of breast tissues you have, it's expected. I don't think it's breast cancer. I don't think it's anything to worry about. But we'll just run a test because I can feel some lumps, but let's just check it. So she sent me for mammogram and biopsy. So when they did the mammogram, they found 3 lumps instead of 1. And then they did a biopsy and found out that because they biopsied only 1 lump and found out that it was cancerous. So they had to call me in again and told me that it's unfortunate that the biopsy has cancer in it. So they'll have to do another biopsy for me. So they did the second biopsy, which was now the 3 lumps, and 3 of them were cancerous. So when I asked what the plan would be, the doctor said that it's unfortunate that I may have to lose my breast. So I said I wanted the lumps removed only. She said they could remove the lumps, but first of all, it might deform my breast because they are actually big lumps. That is one. Secondly, the cancer was fueled by hormones, so they would definitely come back. So the only option was to get rid of the breast, which was not a news I was expecting, being a new immigrant in UK.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the crux, one of the things that got across to me when I went through your post on IG. I came into the UK 2015 October, and I can't imagine less than a year after coming into the UK 2016 having to go through this news of all the issues one has to deal with in a new country, in a foreign country. I mean, there's so many challenges. Finding a house, making new friends. In my case, I came to study, so trying to get to know this new way of studying, which is unlike in Nigeria, is a totally different case in the UK. To now have to deal with all these challenges, and then, God forbid, you're dealing with a health crisis, and a crisis that is as bad as, at least to people. I'm ignorant about this, but I would imagine when someone hears cancer, it's a big deal. So for you to now have that thrown upon you, I can't imagine how bad it must have felt.
I know. Prior to that, when I hear people have cancer, my mind is, this person is about to die. And I think it is the same thing for many other people. When people hear cancer, this person is about to die or is closer to death. So let me just make amends. Let me tell you a story. So the time when I started talking about my cancer journey, there's this girl I had issues with in school. Yeah. I beat the living daylight out of her. Yeah. She might see this podcast. Yeah.
Secondary school?
No. School of nursing.
Oh, university. Oh, when you were more mature. I thought it was in secondary school when we used to do all those nonsense. No. I was more mature. Okay. So
we had issues. One thing led to the other. It got physical.
Okay.
I shall beat her. So we hadn't talked in a while. After 3 years after leaving nursing school, I reached out to her and told her that I would like to make amends. Just not to be friends, but to get everything done and so we can move on and forgive each other. She blocked me. So when she saw this story on social media that I had breast cancer. The reason I brought this up is I was just thinking about what she might have felt. She probably felt Vivian is about to die. Let me make amends. Because she reached out to me. She tried to call me several times. When I picked up, I'm like, what do you want? She said that she's sorry about everything that happened, blah, blah, blah. She would like to make amends. We were able to settle things. But I feel like that is what went on in a lot of people's minds, including my relatives, because they thought it was going to lead to death, no matter what stage it was, once it's called cancer. But I personally didn't, even though I was also thinking the same way, I was not worried about if I was going to die. I was more worried about the people I would leave behind, the pain I would leave in their hearts, the space I would create, especially my siblings, because I'm the first child in my family. So I basically feel like my siblings are my children. So my first thought was, how are they going to cope without me? What do I need to put in place to help them get through life, you know? But it's relieving. It's a relief now that it's now known that cancer is not a death sentence.
Yeah. Why weren't you scared of death? Because to the average guy, to someone like me, you're right, the perception of someone that has cancer, without even know what stage it is, whether it's stage 1, because most people don't know. I don't even know what's the difference. I just know that stage 4 from popular, what we've seen on movies, once we hear stage 4, that means it's critical.
Yes.
But the point is, why weren't, I mean, you're young, we're both young. And as a young person, you've not achieved your dreams. You've not, the goals you set up for yourself to achieve in life, you haven't achieved them. So death is one of the last things that should scare us as young people. If you are old, if you are 18, 90, that's normal. But as young people, but why weren't you scared of it? So
look at it this way. This is your destination, right? And you are moving from one end to the other.
Yes.
So before you get there, you will be careful of traffic. You'll be careful of anybody running into you. Yeah. You might even say, I don't feel good about this thing. Let me turn back.
Yeah.
But if you're on your way and a car knocks you, as in the car is very close that you can't think, you won't think of, this road is not... What you're thinking is the car is coming. It's not even death, so you're thinking, is the impact. You might not even consider death at that point. So when I got diagnosed and they mentioned cancer, in my head is death. So what else am I going to do? So I felt like there's little or nothing I can do about this thing if it's going to end in death.
Wow.
So that was not my priority. My priority is the people I will leave behind.
Wow.
So that was how I saw it. I don't know if it's weird, but that was how I felt.
Yeah, it is, because I mean, it speaks to the kind of person you are, the selfless attitude or the that perspective on life, which I mean is a very good perspective, really. But I just mean as a young person, it's a perspective you don't see many young people have. I mean, I don't know how I would write, God forbid, but I mean, I would imagine the fear first of all the things I've set out to achieve, the podcast, politics, whatever goals I've set out for myself. It's like all these goals I have, suddenly one may never get to realize them. So it's like, for me personally, I feel like it may be fear. I don't know how I'm going to react, but I don't have any friend or close family member who has had cancer, but I would imagine.
No, I've never been the type of person that hold on to things. I don't hold on to things too tight. Yeah. I let things... I'm strong-willed, but I also create space for things to go.
Yes.
So if I can't control it and I can't, I let it go. I'm not that, I don't hold on to things. So the last thing that will make me freak out is my plans for tomorrow, when I know that the next minute is not even guaranteed. So that's the kind of person I am generally.
Yeah. So, but when you had the diagnosis, they told you had cancer, they told you that they may have to cut off that part of your body.
Yes, that was the one that got to me.
Obviously, as a lady as well. So what were your thoughts here?
So when I got through the part where my doctor told me, Vivian, is not unto death. You know, you can still live if you lose one of your breasts. So I was really concerned, because I'm like, I'm someone that my image is really important to me. I want to look at myself in the mirror and feel like I'm beautiful, right? Now, telling me that I have to go flat on one breast, it will affect my mental health. It will affect my confidence. I already don't even feel like I want to have hourship. And you're not telling me that I have to now lose one breast. It wasn't a welcome information from my doctor. So, but the good thing is that she gave me options, right? She told me that there were other ways. If I didn't want to go flat, I could get an implant. And with the implant, I could either get a silicone or I could get the skin transfer, get a part of my body to build that part of me. So again, there's another solution, right? So the entire journey, I was happy to just create space for other alternatives. And I'm really glad that there was that option of getting an implant. So now, unless I mention it to you that I got a mastectomy, most people don't even know.
Yes.
Even though it's not yet perfect, because I'll still go back for reconstruction. But yeah, it bothered me, but there was a solution.
Yeah. How did you cope emotionally?
It was not easy. Emotionally, it was traumatizing. The trauma was majorly about the journey, the chemotherapy, the surgeries, so I had the option of, if I have to go to chemotherapy, then I have to get a fertility treatment. So the fertility treatment entailed that I preserve my eggs. To preserve my eggs, they had to give me some hormonal injections to prepare the follicles, because, a woman can produce eggs with nothing inside.
Yes.
It's like when you buy egg and there is no egg yolk, so there won't be chicken. So the injections were to make sure that there were follicles and then there were seeds inside it. I had to take that injection for 21 days and then went in for a surgery, which was to harvest the eggs. That was another trauma. Then I now went for mastectomy, losing one breast,
yes,
and trying to get comfortable with sleeping on one side and not sleeping on my tummy, which was another one. And then the embassy refusing my sister visa twice.
Yes.
That means I had no family support. Then my friends showing up for me, and then sometimes letting me down with my expectations. So it was a whole lot of emotional roller coaster. Yeah. But the saving grace was that NHS gave me the option of going for therapy. Okay. So I had sessions where I would go to this woman who was also a breast cancer patient, yes, and understood where I was coming from. So she kind of helped me through that journey. It wasn't majorly about the treatment. It was more about myself, where I was. So she felt, you said I'm selfless. She felt like I was putting too many people above myself. And it's a reason, it's going to be a reason why I will suffer, not just for the journey, but mentally. And I understood her because she said I needed to put myself first, make some decisions that would benefit only me first before anything else. So emotionally, it wasn't easy, but I was able to get through it. And then the thing about my finances, because at some point I stopped getting paid.
Yeah. John, you mentioned the NHS. I think we're going to come back to it at some point eventually, but how were they able to, you said you are working, obviously, you stopped getting paid.
Yes. So what happened was, at the time, I didn't understand the policy. So what I am used to is, if you are sick and you call in sick, you still get paid, yes, basic salary. So I had my surgery in April, which meant that I needed to stay home, yes, for almost a month. So I got paid that month. And then at some point I went back to work. Then when I officially started my chemotherapy, I could not handle work. So I called in sick again. This time I stayed more than 1 month to 2 months. My pay was no longer coming. In fact, my last salary was like £58. Wow. So that scared me because I needed to pay my rent. I needed to feed. Yeah. So I reached out to my hospital, and my manager did not understand what was going on. He liaised with my matron, and they tried to figure it out. And I got very desperate. And I mentioned it on my stories on Instagram. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm not getting paid anymore. So some of my followers were like, open a GoFundMe, we'll help you. So, I was like, okay. And then somebody mentioned it on YouTube too, that I should open a GoFundMe. So my friends were like, yes, go ahead if people are willing to. So I created a GoFundMe account, and people started donating to me. While this was going on, my manager and my matron were trying to figure out what was going on. So at the end of the day, they told me that what happened was, because I had been with my hospital for just 1 year and some months, I was only entitled to full month pay. Yeah. And that's it. So how it works is, if you've worked with NHS for 1 year, you're entitled to 1 month sick leave pay. If you've stayed with them for 2 years, you're entitled to 2 months. So like that, if you've stayed up to 5 years, then 5 months. If you've stayed 6 years, then they'll continue. No, 6 years is, I think they will just continue paying you until you're back. So I had just stayed 1 year and some months, so I wasn't entitled to it, but I didn't know it at this time. So the GoFundMe actually helped me, because I would have been homeless and with no food on my table. Yeah. So yeah, that was one of the things that I got from the community I had online. That's another thing about social media, because it helped me. Sharing my journey online helped me get that support. Yeah. And
like I said, I mean, that's how I came across your story. But why did you feel the need to? Because that's one thing I would imagine people struggle with as well. The stigma kind of with cancer. But why did you feel like you wanted to share your story? Because I found this inspiring. I found it really inspiring that you shared this story. But unlike other people, why did you feel like you had to tell the world about what you were going through?
So we come from a conservative community where people don't want to share these things. Of course, yes. But I'm a liberal person. Yes. I feel like I'm in charge of my freedom, right? Yes. At that time, people around me were not very comfortable with me sharing my journey, but I didn't mind. I looked at it. If I was watching, how would I feel? I would enjoy that content. I would want to know what goes on behind the scenes of someone that is going through cancer. Now, coming from Nigeria, a lot of people deal with these things and don't share it. So one person has somebody dealing with breast cancer. They don't know how to care for that person. They don't even know that this person that is going through chemotherapy is susceptible to infection. So they should not allow the person go to church. They should not allow the person go to market. But because this person has refused to share what they're dealing with, this other person cannot know that. So it's either this one is dealing with the knowledge they got from a good doctor, and this one is dealing with the knowledge they got from a doctor that just said, go for chemotherapy without telling you anything. So there's what they call neutropenic. Somebody going through cancer can be neutropenic. That is when your neutrophils are really low. That means you are now very susceptible to infections. So I felt if I shared my journey and shared what was going on, people would learn. Yes. People that have breast cancer will know when to seek help. When they seek help, they will know what they are supposed to expect from their doctors. Do you understand? Yes. So I felt the need to share it just to open up that door for people to see what happens with a cancer patient. Because I know a lot of Nigerians and Africans are dealing with this, but are not sharing with each other. So people are dying. Of course, yeah, I agree. Even before the cancer gets the chance to kill them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, it speaks to, I think for someone like me, I would struggle because I'm quite, like you said, conservative. And as a guy, there is this pride we have, as men, and also my kind of person I don't like people knowing what happens in my private life. I like to keep it very private. But I think I see the importance of sharing personal stories like that, because you never know who is listening, you never know who is watching. I mean, I came across you from that story. If not for that story, I wouldn't know you, and hopefully more people won't get to hear this story. But I think hopefully that culture we all, both of us and millions of our people grew up. And I think it's not just Igbo. I think maybe Yorubas and Hausas
Yes.
as well. It's an African
African thing,
Yeah, it's an
yes.
African culture where we don't like sharing those kinds of.
We don't want people to know that we're struggling.
Yeah, and also the stigma attached to it as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that when it comes to that, it bothers me sometimes,
Yes.
or it used to bother me, not anymore. It used to bother me because I used to think, okay, now that this story is out there, so people now know that I have cancer and I went through chemotherapy. So people know that there's a possibility of me not being able to give birth now.
Okay.
Or even in 1-2 years' time. So imagine I'm dating your brother, and then you now go to social media and see that the girl he's dating had cancer, went through chemotherapy. So if they get married now, you shouldn't be expecting a child now or tomorrow. So it will be an issue. People will already judge me even before hearing the whole story. Do you understand? So I understand that part, but like I said, I don't hold on to things.
Yeah. I'm sorry to pry, and obviously it's not my place to ask this question, but since you brought it up, and you don't need to answer, but is that an issue with breast people that have breast cancer, that about pregnancy?
It's not people that have breast cancer, it's people that went through chemotherapy.
Okay.
So when I talked about fertility treatment, the reason for the fertility treatment was to preserve my eggs. Because chemotherapy, just what it is, chemical therapy.
Okay.
So it's an infusion that goes into the vein and goes to every cell in the body to try to kill cancer cells. So it also gets to the ovaries and can deform ovary DNA.
Wow.
So when somebody that is on chemotherapy gets pregnant, there is a high risk of either miscarriage or the baby will come out deformed, or there are so many things that will go wrong. Wow. And you don't want somebody on chemotherapy to get pregnant.
Wow.
Secondly, chemotherapy also destroys the eggs themselves. So the person might not even get pregnant at all because it pushes the woman into menopause, premature menopause. So at 34, I went into menopause. So when everybody is saying, God, I don't want to get into menopause, 43, I got into menopause 33 because of chemotherapy. I had all the symptoms of menopause, the hot flushes and everything that came with it. So that was why they gave me the fertility treatment, which was to harvest my eggs and put them away in the bank so that when I'm ready and I want a child, me and my partner would go and get either do IUI or no, we can't do IUI. Either do IVF or surrogacy. I can get pregnant now, but because I'm still on that fertility treatment, so after the preservation of the eggs, there is a monthly injection I get. It's called Zoladex injection. I get it every 28 days of the month. I'm supposed to take it till the next 5 years. What it is supposed to do is to keep my ovaries asleep so that I don't harvest and get pregnant, because again, because of the chemotherapy tablets I'm still on, the baby will be deformed or affected. So that's the science behind all these things. So right now I can get pregnant, but the baby will be affected. Yeah. I'm not supposed to, because the baby will be affected. Then I might not get pregnant at all because my body, my ovaries are asleep because of that injection. So there is a chance if I get married, I might not get pregnant. And if I get pregnant, there will be a problem with the pregnancy. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So the main thing is to avoid getting pregnant.
Yeah, but like you said, your eggs have been preserved.
Yes, the healthy ones.
Okay.
I'm really hot. Can I use one?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
So the healthy eggs have been preserved.
Yes.
So the ones I have now are considered not healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to clean your face?
Okay, that's better.
Yeah, sure,
Thank you.
That's fine. Sorry. I mean, it's quite I mean, forgive my ignorance. I'm sorry. My ignorance is being exposed because
Okay.
I know nothing about sciences when it comes to sciences. This is a learning session for me, and I'm sure for
A lot of people
as well. Because
yes.
I have no idea what all this. But you mentioned IUI. Why can't you have IUI and why can't you have IVF and
IVF and surrogacy? So
what's IUI? Sorry.
IUI is intrauterine insemination. So that is when they get the sperm from the man and inject it in the woman's uterus. So the sperm will swim and go and meet an egg.
Okay.
I can't get an IUI because it's going to be the same thing as sleeping with a man and trying to get pregnant.
Okay.
The eggs are the main thing.
Okay.
In IVF, the eggs are already in the bank. So what I need is my partner's seeds will be put with an egg, and if the seeds fertilize the egg, then a baby will start forming, and then they will transfer it into the woman's womb. That is IVF. You understand it?
Yes.
So in that situation, you're not leaving the sperm to find the egg.
Yeah.
There's a healthy egg. You just bring both of them together to get fertilized, and then put it in me.
Yes.
To carry. So my womb is healthy. The eggs are the concern. Then surrogacy is when I don't have to carry the baby. When they fertilize the egg, so from my partner and my egg, then they put it in another woman to carry the baby. So she carries the baby to term, gives birth, and then I take the baby.
Okay.
So I made this inquiry. A lot of people don't know, but let me just say it since it's in your podcast. So I went to my doctors one time, few months ago, and I wanted to know what my options are. If I decide to have a baby on my own, am I eligible to have a surrogate carry my baby? Because my concern was since I've gone through this whole issue, going through chemotherapy, I don't want cancer coming back. And the cancer that I had is the one that is hormone sensitive. So if I get pregnant, so if let's say 2 years later I decide that I want to get pregnant, if I get pregnant, whether IVF or normal pregnancy, and God, I'm sweating.
I'm sorry. I don't. I think
it's okay. No, don't worry. To avoid, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I think I'm not because I'm not talking as much as you. But
yeah, it's okay.
I don't know why they don't have AC in this place. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. So if I go and where was I? What was I saying? Surrogacy.
Yes.
So I wanted to know if I'm eligible for surrogacy. So she looked at my womb and said that I have a healthy womb.
Okay.
So I can carry a child, so I'm not eligible to surrogacy. You know, there was this controversy around surrogacy in Nigeria when people say if you want to get pregnant, just tell somebody to do it. You can't outsource pregnancy if you are healthy.
Okay.
Especially in UK. Okay. So they thought my doctor said you are healthy, your womb is healthy, so you are not eligible for surrogacy.
Yeah.
You must carry your baby when you are ready.
Yes.
You understand? But there are some countries like Nigeria where things are not regulated, and I can just say, somebody carry my child for me.
Yeah.
So, I can do surrogacy if I had issues, but I don't have issues.
Yeah. Again, this whole thing sounds so complex and complicated and too much, even for the layman to understand. Talk more of someone that is having to go through it. Like I can't begin to wrap my head around having to deal with work. Like you said, you're a nurse. It's obvious. You're very intelligent, obviously, from all the things you've explained so far. Mm-hmm. Family issues, like you said, in our culture, the first daughter, just like the first son, carries a lot of responsibility. So you're the first daughter out of five. So you're looking after them. You're looking after yourself. You just came over to the UK newly. Mm-hmm. So the context for me in this whole story matters because I can't just, and like you said, you had no emotional support from your family. They couldn't come over to visit you because if you were in Nigeria, I mean, of course, the healthcare would have been bad, but at least the support system would have been there to support you and give you that foundation.
True.
But the contrast is that in the UK, the healthcare system is excellent,
But no
but this
support.
emotional support, which is also key as well and important.
Yes.
So you're having to rely on friends, which, as you and I know, everybody's busy in the UK. Everybody's pursuing shifts and pursuing work, and get these shifts, get that shifts, hustle. Most people don't have the time to. In fact, I have a friend of mine who just came over to the UK 2 years ago. This is someone that I grew up when I was a kid. He's quite older, but I used to walk to his house in Nigeria. But he's been there for 3 years. I haven't gone to see him because I'm always working and studying, so I don't have the time to go see him. But the context is important, because having a young lady, an intelligent, smart, beautiful lady like yourself go through this must have been so. I can't. Again, it's just so demoralizing, and I can't imagine having to wrap my head around it. But was there any particular time you felt? I hate to use the word suicidal. Was there any particular time you felt like giving up? Like this was just too much for me to handle. That I might as well just throw in the towel and let this thing just ride its course.
Yes, it was the day I almost died.
Wow.
So the chemotherapy is, Jesus, I don't even wish it on my worst enemy. So I think it was my third cycle. I had taken the infusion, went home. 2 days, I think after 2 days, I'm supposed to start taking injection. It's called filgrastim. So that injection goes to the bone marrows and try to produce white blood cells that will help my immunity. So I took that injection. Anytime I take that injection, I'm vigilant because I might get one reaction or the other. So on that particular day, the reaction was me throwing up blood.
Wow.
So it started with stomach pain, and then I started throwing up, and from throwing up normal stuff, I started throwing up blood. I called ambulance, and they told me I'll have to wait for 3 hours. Wow. So I'm like, is it not better to just die and have peace of mind? Let everybody rest because which one is I have to wait for you for 3 hours? So, and then it occurred to me I could call a friend of mine. So I called my friend AJ, and in 6 minutes he came and picked me. That was the only time I felt like, okay, this is too much. I'm done. But apart from that, I was okay. Wow. All true. I mean, I needed to be okay because of my family. Yes. So
how did you bounce back from that event? How did you bounce back? How did you get back up?
So, get back up from
this episode, the traumatic. That
I don't think I recovered from that particular day, because I felt that was the worst day I felt alone. At this time I was living in a house that had 7 occupants. So it's a shared apartment.
Yes.
I was screaming and nobody heard me. So that day I felt the loneliest on earth, because if I had my family.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm very sorry. I mean, I can't begin to fathom.
Because if I had somebody with me, at least a family member, I wouldn't have to be throwing up blood and be looking for my phone to call somebody and then getting told that I have to wait for 3 hours. So I've not recovered from that particular day. That day showed me how lonely or how alone one can be as an adult. You never know what you have when you have your family around. But when you start living on your own as an adult, and then you have to go through this, that's when you really know that family is very important.
Yeah.
So I've not been able to recover from that particular day.
Yeah.
From time to time, I still think about it, and it reminds me every day that this life you're alone.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, again, in foreign countries, you're always alone. Keeping aside the cancer and every other issue, like in foreign countries, it's very boring, it's very lonely. This is something that everyone it stunts everyone they leave Nigeria and come to the UK, and I'm sure it applies to America as well, is that you're lonely. It's just you. Unlike in Nigeria where you can walk to your neighbor's house, here you can't just turn up to your neighbor's house and knock on the door. You have to call up and be like, are you around? Can I come?
Exactly.
Ask for consent and go. But here, and then again, that loneliness apart, and when you now add up on top of it that you're going through this serious critical health challenge, like I can't begin to fathom how hard this was.
One of the things that I used to fill that space was, of course, social media.
Yes.
Because sharing my journey and seeing people leave nice comments helped. I even had Blessing CEO was really supportive.
Wow.
To the point that she used to reach out to me through my DMs to ask me if I needed anything, if I needed somebody to talk to, because she's a therapist, although it's relationship related to her, but she was also happy to lend a shoulder for me. So the love I got from social media was what I tried to use to fill in that space of not having my family, but it was really tough. But social media helped.
That's nice of. I mean, I'm thank God for social media, because I also commented as well. I also reached out to you on your DM.
Yes,
remember, I reached out to you privately even before this was last year, months, because I felt like wow. So I like to. One of the things I like to do is I like to put myself in other people's shoes. Like, imagine myself at 19, leaving Nigeria and coming here. Like, nobody, I left on my own, entered the plane on my own, came here, struggled. Thank God I met this lovely couple from Benue State that helped me out, gave me my first Nigerian food. So the first weekend I spent in the UK, I was just eating biscuits. I remember going to Sainsbury's and buying this rice and thought it was proper rice, but it was rubbish. I threw it away. I couldn't eat it. I was eating biscuits and cake for the first 2 days. And then on Sunday, I went to church. And then I met this lovely couple in church, and that same day from the church, we went to their house. They gave me proper Nigerian meal. And then that was how I was there. But that's the story. That's the life. You're just here on your own. You're here lonely. And then, so I'm sure that having that support system of people on social media to support you and reach out helped. And then she has this negative image, but thank God you also mentioned that.
She's a very lovely person. Yeah. Do you know, even till today, Blessing still reaches out to say, sis, how are you doing?
That's lovely.
We're here if you need anything. You know me now. I'm like, thank you, sis. I really appreciate. Yeah, so she was really supportive. And I feel like she's very different compared to what she shows on social media.
The perception of social media, obviously.
Yeah, she's a very different person.
Yeah, it's a negative one. Yeah. I mean, from what I see online, but...
she was happy to give me that, will I say therapeutic opportunity. Like, she'll be like, how you doing? What do you need? Do you need to talk about anything? So she that was when she also told me that she is a psychological therapist too. So she can handle therapy, psychological therapy apart from relationships. So if I needed that, so I thought I was okay. But from time to time she reaches out. So I feel that loneliness, the lack of love that I didn't get from my family, I filled it with the support I got from social media. I had people there was one of that doctor, I forgot, Dr. Kate or something. She sent me 1 week food.
Wow.
Like, she paid for it and it was supplied to my house. Then at work, they celebrated me like I'm a celebrity,
I saw a few videos.
Yeah.
I saw a few videos.
So it was really, even though, how do I say it? Even though it was lemon, I made out lemonade. Somehow. Yeah. So, yeah.
How difficult has it been, this entire journey? How difficult has it been? Like, I'm sure when you were in Nigeria and living for the UK, the last thing on your mind was that you're going to have cancer. Like, of all the challenges that came to your head, like, I'm sure perhaps if you are dating someone in Nigeria, okay, maybe how will I sort out a relationship? And then how will I find a house? How will I get on with my colleagues at work? I'm sure the last thing on your head was cancer. So, how difficult has the journey been? This so crazy, very crazy life experience. How's it been?
It's been like a rebirth for me. The process was tough. Going through it, losing some part of my identity was tough. But I have seen it as a rebirth. Like, there is a new me now. Even I sometimes try to catch up with myself because I feel like it helped me see how close we all are to our grave. Like, it can take just 1 second and we'll be sleeping. Imagine going into the theater not knowing what they're doing. Now that I'm a theater nurse, when we carry out these operations, I visualize myself on that table. I'm like, imagine how helpless a human being can be, because you'll be on the table and everything that has to do with your life depends on other people's life. So this whole journey lets me see that you are nobody, no matter who you are. No matter how big or small you are very close to your end. So make the most out of it. Waiting to take permission from anybody, trying to please anybody will only take away from you. So I feel like the journey was hard, but it was eye-opening and it was necessary for me to wake up. And I think I've woken up.
Yeah. Would you say you're now more spiritual or more...
Yes, I used to be spiritual. And okay, one thing I forgot to mention is I've never been somebody that does not take care of herself. All through, in fact, from childhood, we were fed natural food. So there was nothing that I would say I was eating that could cause cancer, right? But it just came. So talking about spirituality, I feel like it was part of a spiritual awakening for me, because I don't think I ate anything that can cause cancer, but I think my spirit needed that charge for me to wake up. So I'm more spiritual now. I am a Christian, but I'm not religious. I'm not a religious Christian. So I worship God. I worship Christ. I follow the ways of Christ, but I also know that there is a God power in me. So I can manifest things into existence. I can call things and they will happen. I can create the kind of life I want. I can either be in hell or in heaven on earth, depending on my vibrations. So this whole journey helped me see all these things clearer. And I feel like I'm in a better place and happier and healthier than before.
Yeah. And during the whole episode, how important was your faith during that whole process? Did you find yourself praying more?
I'm sure you fought hard to hold on to my faith.
Wow.
Because I knew that I was in a vulnerable place where I'll either decide not to be Christian anymore, not to trust God, or to trust him too much to the extreme. And trusting him too much to the extreme means that I will now be afraid. So, there's a way you'll be holding on to God, you become desperate, and he doesn't want us to be desperate. So what I did during that period is to make sure that I focused on his faithfulness. So whether it is good or bad, God is good. That was what I kept reminding myself. So no matter what the prognosis was going to be, I didn't care. Anything that made me feel like I'm not getting enough from God, like, all these dramatic miracles. I was left like this today, I'm right. I don't listen to them because I don't want to try to compare myself or judge and say, God, what happened? If you can do this to this person, why are you not doing it for me? Because then it pushes me into desperation, and then I start questioning God's love for me. Because I am convinced 100% that I am where I am because of God. So whether cancer or no cancer, God is faithful to me. So I didn't bother about anything else but my relationship with God, and I held on to it until after that treatment, so that I don't get the chance to say, God, why did you let me go through this?
So you never questioned God?
No.
Wow.
I never did. In fact, I avoided any content that would make me get to that point where I'll say, God, why are you letting me go through this?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. I think the only other thing one can compare with cancer is HIV and AIDS as an African.
No, you can't.
You can't, right? I'm sorry, my ignorance
is at least HIV, all you have to do is take tablets and you get better.
Yeah.
At least if you have the antiretroviral medications, you get better. I mean, is by building your immunity, and then you can live longer.
Yeah.
Cancer is when it comes, you have to go through chemotherapy. Chemotherapy is the problem, not even cancer. Going through that chemotherapy is the main problem. You can't compare it to HIV.
I know we've mentioned it before, but we've mentioned it briefly. How bad? Like when I didn't even know chemotherapy meant chemical therapy. Again, my ignorance is being exposed. I don't know
It's
these things.
fine.
Like when it comes to sciences and this, like I'm so
It's
ignorant.
fine.
But I didn't know it even meant chemical therapy, but chemotherapy. That makes sense. How bad was it? Like you mentioned, you are throwing up, and like I know some other people they get lame. I'm sure that was. I think I'm reminded of Professor Dora Akunyele. I don't know if she had cancer. But do you know Professor Kuyoni, the former
Yeah, I
lab?
know her, but I don't know if she had
I remember
cancer.
before she died, man, she looked so strong. Like the picture of her in one of that was a national event she was in. It was a concert or something about Nigeria. She was talking, and the picture, the contrast of this healthy woman years ago and this woman now. So she was so strong. But was that any of the side effects you had to face?
I didn't have the typical side effect of chemotherapy. The thing is, before I started my chemotherapy, I prayed and said, God, please, I know this is chemical, but I want it to feel like vitamins. That was a prayer I made, and I think God answered that prayer.
Wow.
So why a lot of people slim down when they are going through cancer treatment is because chemotherapy makes you throw up. It makes water taste metallic. So you don't want to drink water. You don't want to eat. And most times people go through insomnia, so they don't get enough sleep. So these things are stress.
Of course.
And stress is a major cause of cancer, by the way. So if you are not eating well, you're not drinking well, you're not sleeping well, you are bound to slim down because your body will lose fat.
Of course.
But in my situation, I think I looked healthier. It's just that I looked fatter on my face because of steroids. Steroid made me fatter, but I was eating well.
Okay.
And one of the things that I did was I had mint gum that I chew every time to change the taste of my mouth so that I can eat whatever.
Wow.
Then water was metallic in my mouth, but I was taking a lot of watermelon.
Yeah.
So I could finish a whole watermelon in one afternoon because that was the best way I could rehydrate myself. Drinking ordinary water wasn't working for me. So my anti-sickness, I was taking them more frequently. Whether I'm feeling sick or not, I take them. So I didn't get the urge to vomit. The only time I got the urge to vomit was the day I was throwing up blood, So I didn't get the typical reaction that other people get. That was why I didn't slim down. In fact, somebody even left a comment and said, "Are you sure you're going through cancer? Because your nails are supposed to be dark." Yes, my nails turned black. My nails turned black, yes. Chemotherapy is like frying the cells in your body through the blood. So yes, it was showing through my nails, and then I lost my hair. But before chemotherapy, I had already cut my hair. So
Yeah, I think I saw that video. Yeah,
so I was bowed. But one thing that came from chemotherapy was that my skin got better. All the black spots I used to have on my face went.
Wow.
I'm serious, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but after chemotherapy, I also had radiotherapy, and I was told I could get side effects from radiotherapy, but I didn't experience any of that. I just had part of my breast was dark, and the back opposite of it was black too. I was speaking to a consultant, a surgeon, 2 days ago because we were carrying out a mastectomy of the breast for a woman that had breast cancer. We were removing the breast, so I was kind of trying to hear his perspective because he's a different doctor from mine. So I asked him about radiotherapy. Why are people against it? He said it's because radiotherapy freezes, or this is what he said, radiotherapy freezes, or will I say fries the cells. So the reason for radiotherapy is, especially like in my case, I have an implant, right? Now for them to preserve that skin to cover the implant, what they did is they cut open the breast, brought out all the tissues inside. Now, there's a possibility that some cancer cells are still remaining on the walls. So they sent me for radiotherapy to try to burn out that cancer cell. But while doing that, part of normal cells will still be cut in between. Do you understand it? It's like this is the skin of the breast, right? They will have to put implants inside and cover it this way, right? Now, before they put that implant, they would have removed these things inside.
Tissues.
Yes. So the remaining might have cancer inside them. So when they put that implant and seal it and I go for radiotherapy, they try to burn out the cancer cells from outside but inside. But it will also affect normal cells because the radiation passes from here to the back. You understand?
Yeah.
But I didn't get any side effects. But people are afraid of it because they believe that it can cause more damage. So the doctor said, yes, it might cause, depending on the extent of the radiation. You know, so...
Is there any truth to that? I've listened to some people talk about chemotherapy, even bringing death quicker. Like
I cannot say directly that there is a truth because my own organs were not fried. But I've seen people write about it and even talk about it, how somebody went for chemotherapy and ended up with kidney failure or liver damage and all those things. So I didn't see anything. I've gone for another CT scan twice actually since after my treatment and no damage has been found. So I can't say if truly it happens, but there's a potential. I mean, if this is chemical and then radiation, there's a possibility that something like that will happen.
So at the moment, are you cancer-free now?
Yes.
Okay, thank
I'm cancer-free. I rang the bell. But I am on adjuvant treatment. The reason for the adjuvant treatment is to push it further away so it doesn't come back. But there's no guarantee. It might still come back.
Okay. Sorry, I'm learning a lot from this. It's also so many questions coming to my head. But this whole process, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, how accessible and how affordable was it for you?
I didn't pay a dime. And I didn't pay a dime because I have a job.
Yes.
And, you know, when you get salary, they take your health insurance from there.
Yes.
So I'm entitled to the whole treatment. But it is a very expensive treatment because I tried to check how much the medications are. The tablets I take, the injection I take every month now, I think one of it is like $5,000 or $8,000.
Wow.
In US.
Wow.
So if I was living in US where they don't do this free medical health, I have to pay for them. So it's really expensive. Now imagine people at home.
Yeah, exactly, man. Well, I mean, we're talking about it on our way here. I can't. This was one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you because the NHS system, despite its failures and criticisms, you see it on when I watch the BBC and ITV and they talk about NHS failures and whatever, I always try to compare it with Nigeria because that's the comparison that's relevant to me. In Nigeria, we don't have free healthcare. We don't even have good healthcare. Talk more of it even being free. So talk more of someone that has cancer or comes across something as deadly as this and has to deal with it. It's like a death sentence in Nigeria, in Africa.
It is.
You know, really.
When I was going through my treatment, I had a lot of women reach out to me talking about, I've been diagnosed with breast cancer. What can I do? I don't have money. My mom has been diagnosed with breast cancer. She doesn't have money. What can we do? In fact, there was a lady that told me that she wanted to set up a GoFundMe account like me so that people would donate to her. I should tell her how to do it. I told her how to do it. But the problem is not setting up GoFundMe. The issue is, are you telling your story? Because people will donate to what they connect to. So a lot of people are asking to create a GoFundMe or how they can get donations, but you have to tell your story for people to know why they have to connect with you. But the situation in Nigeria needs a whole lot of help because people are going through it. And some doctors are also dealing with people through that situation too, because they know that we don't have that 100% capable hands when it comes to oncology. So they treat, even when they are just family doctors, they treat oncology cases too to make money out of it. You know, I used to work in a hospital back then. Now I'm just thinking back at it. But back then we were just a maternity. You know, that was when I was fresh out of nursing school, just looking for where to start. And this hospital had a patient that had I think it was ovarian cancer. We were not an oncology hospital. That patient died there. But they kept collecting 200,000, I think daily or so, to administer. The woman got her treatment, her chemotherapy treatment from, I think, Lutz or where. And then the doctor will just give it to her. This person that is giving this medication is not even an oncologist. So that is what people are facing in Nigeria. The poor healthcare system, the personnel that we have, some of them are doing within and beyond where they are licensed to operate, and it's to the detriment of the poor masses. If the government can at least help, we were talking about the funds about for cancer. If people can actually access those funds, it will go a long way. A lot of women are dealing with breast cancer and they are going the traditional way because they don't have money to actually go for the main treatment. There's a lady, I'm not going to mention her name, but she's been in my DM. I kind of felt connected to her. Even during my donations, I sent her some money, she and one other lady. So now she's gone through chemotherapy and she went to CT and they could not find anything, but there is a swollen lymph node. So her doctor is suggesting that she goes for mastectomy. And this girl is I don't think she's even up to 32 years old. Wow. And you know what they pay people in Nigeria. Tell me how she's going to be able to afford mastectomy, afford the care of, she even survived chemotherapy. She didn't get infection. Now she has to remove both breasts. So imagine what she's going to, once she's a young girl, might not be able to afford the bills. How can we help people that are this vulnerable? Yes. Now she has to deal with the medical issues. She has to deal with, because I asked her if she's in any relationship. She said yes, but the guy has started acting in somehow already. So imagine what a normal Nigerian, because this breast cancer is not just for women. Men also have breast cancer.
Really?
Yes. Oh, anybody that has a breast.
Wow.
Anybody that has a breast.
Really?
Yes.
Men have breast cancer.
Yes.
Whoa. I'm sure. I never knew of that. Knew that. Yeah, I'm sorry. My ignorance is stark.
Oh my Jesus.
I never knew men.
No.
I know prostate cancer. I knew other cancer, but not.
No. Any human being that has a breast is susceptible to breast cancer. Wow. So men also get breast cancer.
Whoa.
Yes. Whoa. It's just that our society is so conservative that even the men might not even want to go for checks.
Yeah, of course. I would imagine.
Yeah. So imagine what these people, just normal human beings, are going about their lives and then get diagnosed with cancer. What are they going to do? How would they care for themselves? I heard that when you go to the hospitals where cancer patients are being taken care of, you just wonder, is it the whole Nigeria that has cancer? Different types of cancer. It's crazy out there. And I just wish there's something we can do about cancer, because is getting, although having this conversation with the consultant I was working with the other day, he said there are so many options now, but that is for them, here. There are so many options. People are surviving cancer, but how many are surviving back home? You hear that somebody survived cancer and then 1 year, 2 years later, they are gone.
Yes.
It's a very hard place to be, but
Yeah, it's sad. Our leaders are so corrupt and so feckless and vapid. These are the things that, when you think of the amount of money that have been stolen in corruption and
the cancer funds.
Yeah, exactly.
Because how many people know that they can access funds for just being diagnosed with breast cancer? Any cancer, in fact. There are funds for this thing. What was the name? Can I?
Yeah, of course you can. I know we went through it. We found it online. Funds that people can have, but most people don't know about these things.
Yeah, people don't.
And even if they know, having access to
it is a problem.
Is an issue, and.
It's called the Nigerian Cancer Health Fund, established in 2020. So it's even recent. Yes. It's supposed to be on the news, but nobody knows about this thing. So I'm sure the normal Nigerian does not know that they have funding, at least to subsidize some of these medications that they have to deal with. But Once you get diagnosed, you just go and start looking for money. But your government has money allocated for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Where is that money going to?
Yeah.
The reason they will not publicize it is if they publicize it, then the people will come to claim it. So the pocket it would have gone to through the back, they will no longer get it. They come out, claim to be rich and say, I do this business and that business. That's how I'm able to afford this luxury and that luxury. But if you dig deeper, it is money meant for the masses that they are using. People going through health issues, people that would have been able to I survived breast cancer because I'm in a system that takes care of their own. I had my medications paid for. After the mastectomy, I was supposed to go home. I told my doctor, I don't have anybody in this country. She said, okay, so you can stay in the hospital. We'll monitor you before you go home. Even though there was no bed space, they had to make that space for me. I had therapy free of charge. Till today, my medications are free. When I was going for radiation, my radiation was 15 days. The hospital will come to my house and pick me up, take me for my treatment, and take me back home for those 15 days. I didn't spend a dime on transportation. You don't get that in Nigeria. And it's very unfair. It's very unfair that we treat ourselves this way and then complain that other people from other countries are treating us the same way we're treating ourselves. We deserve what we get. So it would be nice if we can get people that are capable, that actually have the interest of the normal Nigerian at heart, to get into places where they can help with this, because we cannot have people suffering for something that is like praying to God to please give you life when he has already given it to you. Or is that a good analogy? You understand? Yeah. We already have funds for this thing, but
Nigeria is a very
we can't
rich country.
access it.
Yes.
Exactly.
We are resource rich. We are a very rich country.
And then we're crying that Donald Trump is cutting us off. Why won't he cut us off? If they are helping us and they're not seeing the evidence of the help they're giving, what can we do?
Not yesterday I saw Dangote to say that we've spent I think it's $18 billion on our refineries, and yet it's not working.
So where's that money?
$18 billion would have done to Nigeria's healthcare system.
Exactly.
I think that's the worst crime of all when it comes to our leaders. That's
exactly
the lives that would have been seen. And that's why I don't have any kind of remorse towards these guys, and I detest them and hate them so much, because there is no, when I think of, that's why I always insist on world-class healthcare, world-class schools, and world-class infrastructure, because these are differences it can make. Like you said, your hospital came to your house, picks you up,
take me for my treatment and take me back.
Like, these are the differences that these things make. And when you steal money that belongs to people that maternity homes, cancer patients.
A governor was saying that, was proud to say that in their primary health care, if you give birth, they give you a tissue and 500 naira.
Former Abia State governor. Yeah, that's the guy.
If you see his house.
I would imagine. One of the worst governors ever. What's his name again? His name eludes me.
Forgotten his.
He was a guy before OT. We saw that video went viral. It was one of the most stupid things someone has ever said, But yeah, I'm not surprised that. But I mean, you mentioned a traditional way of treating cancer. I'm sure it's not legal. But what is this traditional way of treating cancer that some Nigerians use?
Actually, is how they go to herbal medicine tell them that. Because some of them are either diagnosed, some of them are not yet officially diagnosed.
Yes.
So they see their breasts getting bigger and maybe even producing pus. Because they can't afford basic health care, they go to traditional way. And the traditionalist will say, I have the herbs that will take care of this. Don't worry, they'll apply oil, apply whatever they're applying. By the time they now realize that, I need to go to the hospital, it's already too late.
Of course, yeah.
In this country, UK, when people get to stage 4, it's palliative. So they treat them, make them comfortable until they pass. in Nigeria, when it's getting worse, they tell you that because it's getting worse, that means it's getting better. If it's painful, don't worry, that means it's healing. And then before you know it, the person will pass away. So the traditional way people go to is herbal. Some of these things don't have a research backing it, to say, oh, this can treat this cancer. They themselves that are treating don't even know. People in Nigeria are money hungry. So anybody can decide to be a herbalist just to get money from people, which is risky.
Yeah, you mentioned a friend of yours initially at the beginning of this podcast that has stage 4. Did she survive?
Yes.
Oh, thank God.
At least as far as I know, she's not my friend. She's a friend of a friend. So after, her story is not mine to tell, but she went through chemotherapy and was not responding to it. So the doctors said they were going to put her on palliative care. So she moved away from that doctor, went to another doctor for second opinion, and they started giving her another chemotherapy. I think it started working a little bit. Then at that time, they were also working on relocating to Canada. So she moved to Canada with her medical report and started a different treatment, and it actually started working. In fact, she went back to work.
Thank God. That's
great. So that's as far as I know.
I just remember, once like you said, once someone hears stage 4,
no, some people still survive stage 4, and that's the good thing about outside of Africa.
Yes.
See UK, Canada, and she's still able to go back to work.
Of course. Of course. What do you think is the reason why we have an increase in cancer rates in Nigeria? What do you think explains it?
You don't want me to be sincere. In fact, I don't want to be sincere so
no, you should be.
I don't lose my license.
No, it should be. It should be. I mean, who knows who's going to listen to this, but it's a small podcast, so who knows how many people watch, but
I don't know. God will help me.
I just want us. I'm being eager to. I've had people talk about that. If you go to hospitals, and like you rightly said, lots of people are having cancer. Like, is it the food we eat? Is it that we are and the truth is we are really unhealthy in Nigeria. We are very unhealthy. The kind of rubbish we eat and nonsense crap we eat.
Truth is, cancer has been there.
Okay.
But if you notice, there is a spike.
Yes.
Since 2020.
Okay, so are you talking about COVID, the vaccine, or I don't know? Is that?
It came from your mouth. Because, like I said, I am somebody that takes care of myself.
Yeah.
I drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
I take my vitamins when necessary. Yeah. I eat more of vegetables. I'm a vegetable person.
Yeah.
Even from childhood, I don't take a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
So I do not see a reason, and they did genetics for me. It's not in my blood. It's not in my family. So I do not see a reason why all of a sudden there's cancer.
Okay, we're not going to go into this in depth because obviously you're working in the healthcare system and I don't want to get you into any kind of trouble. But so just a question on this: did you take the COVID vaccine? Okay. Yeah, people can make up their minds, but I've had a lot of those stories, and it's sad. I didn't take the vaccine because I'm that kind of guy that I'm quite stubborn and strong-headed. Even though I was working all through, I work part-time in security, and
I was living in Turkey, in northern Cyprus.
Oh, okay.
So they are it's a small country in an island, so they are very strict for you to do anything. I was a student, I was doing my master's. So for you to go into school, you have to take the vaccine.
Yeah.
For you to enter some places, you have to take the vaccine. So yes.
I remember getting an email at work when they said that the company I was working for them was like, they're gonna have to make it mandatory. I was like, if you guys don't, just leave. Because for some reason, I'm just I think because as a Nigerian, really, coming from living in a government where the government is very bad and terrible, you kind of have that distrust naturally towards any government.
Yeah.
So for you to tell me to take a vaccine, I'm like, nah, I'm good, I'm healthy already. Even though I wasn't healthy then because I wasn't going to the gym then, so I was fat, but I was like, after this, I'm going to go back to the gym and lean and get lean. But the point is, I hope people that took the vaccine, I hope they're all right. And
I've seen suggestions and articles where they say try to detox. If you can detox, it will help. But I think it's a contributing factor.
We don't need to because obviously we don't want anything to affect your field. As we're going to the end now, you had cancer. Thank God you survived. You said you were working for a hospital at that point. How was your relationship with your employer? How supportive were they throughout the journey?
They were so supportive to the point that when I came back to work and I came to report that I was back to my manager, my matron walked in. Me, my matron, my manager is a man.
Yeah.
3 of us started crying.
Wow.
So they were so supportive throughout my journey. Like I said, they hosted a mini party for me, printed my picture and posted it everywhere to celebrate me. They contributed money. They actually paid for one of my rent then. They contributed almost £700 or so for me, you know. They were very supportive, always checking up on me. My manager, my matron chased up on the hospital to find out why I wasn't getting paid and tried to sort it out. So I had the maximum support I could have asked for from my employers. And even till now. So because I'm still on chemotherapy tablets and my immunity is low, my oncologist advised my hospital to find a lower lesser patient contact place for me so that I can still keep working while I'm on my medication. And they've made that. In fact, I'm in a place where I know that I've been iron, you know, now I'm a tetanus. So all this came because they were willing to support me all through, you know, and it's something the first video I posted on social media was that the miracle is not cancer healing. The miracle is the fact that I am in UK.
Yeah.
That is the actual miracle.
Yes.
Because then every other thing came.
Yes.
If I was in Nigeria, I'll be praying for dramatic miracle. But because I'm in UK, I have proper training, I have proper healthcare from them. I have subsidized or in fact no pay costs. I have the opportunity to choose. You don't get the opportunity to choose. There was a nurse, Nigerian nurse that's in Nigeria that was diagnosed with breast cancer. Her doctor told her that she will have to get a mastectomy, both of them. She said that she needs time to think. The man said, if you get out of here, the next time I'll be able to see you is in 3 months. I don't have time for rubbish. But I get to choose if I want that mastectomy or not because I'm in UK. That is the miracle for me, you know. So my employers are very wonderful. I am happy and I feel like I'm lucky to be here. It's not the same story for every other person, but all I can say is that you have to keep fighting wherever you find yourself. What I usually think is I see myself as somebody that is on a journey on earth. Whatever is going to happen has already been written. It has been predestined. So if I am poor or in a poor family, I probably chose it from my previous life because there's something I need to learn or something I need to correct. So see it that way. If you are going through something, if you have been diagnosed in Nigeria, you're probably going through cancer in Nigeria because you chose that in your previous life and you need to learn from it. Try to learn from the journey, then do whatever you can to stay alive. But if your diagnosis or prognosis is towards the end, also know that you have God by your side. He brought you here. And there's a reason you are here, and there will be a reason why we transition. All of us will go one day. So that I'm alive and healthy today does not mean that there is a guarantee that if I leave this place, I'm still going to be alive. So there is nothing to be afraid of, and there shouldn't be any stigma around cancer. It can happen to anybody. So see life that way and don't overwhelm yourself. Because sometimes cancer is not what kills people. What kills people is the mental health trauma. It is infection and other things surrounding cancer and not cancer itself. Same thing as HIV. It's not HIV that kills people. It's infections because HIV fights the immunity, brings it low. Then tuberculosis will come and other things will come and kill somebody. So sometimes what you think is killing you is not what is killing you. You're either overstressing yourself or surrounding yourself with people that are not helping you.
That was powerful. Honestly, Vivian, it's been an honor.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you would like to add? We are done now, but is there anything else you would like to add? Is there anything you feel like we should need to touch?
There's nothing else. It's an honor to be on your platform.
No, this is a small platform. This is a small.
Stop calling it small.
No, it is. No,
Stop calling it small.
This was emotional for me as well. I didn't cry, but it was powerful in the sense that I keep going back to it. As a foreigner in this place, as an immigrant, man, the last thing you want to go through is this. Like all the challenges I've gone through in my years of being in this country, I can't imagine going through what you went through. And it speaks to your strength of character, your courage, and how, just going through this with that smile on your face and even speaking up about it. And honestly, I'm honored to have you here. I'm very grateful.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. And I will say that don't wait for cancer to wake you up. I was just floating until cancer came, and I woke up and I realized I've been people pleasing for too long. I've been living a basic life for too long. There is no time. No matter how young you think you are, whether you have cancer or not, there is no time. Wake up, live. So that when you are gone, you know that you actually lived. Not that when you are gone, you'll be thinking, I should have done this, I should have done that. The only time you have is now. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. So use this opportunity now and stop letting people dictate how you live your life.
Thank you so much, Vivian. I have nothing else to add. It's been an honor. I'm sure I have a feeling we're going to do this again some other time.
Yes, I'll be excited too. I am excited.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.